spoke about time and the importance of time. That was last week with Dr. Yusri. And today, a little bit different. We will be speaking about inner beauty versus outer beauty, and we will touch on modesty. And this is a talk both for the ladies and the gentlemen. I don't need to be in the camera. People know who I am. Plus, I want to say things that maybe people don't need to see my face when I say it. Tina will do the talk. There will be time for questions. We're a little bit late, but that's okay. We'll get started straight away, and then hopefully we'll have time for some questions, and we'll do the announcements after. And Tina, you can decide if you want questions during this talk or after. It's completely up to you. Is your mic on?
Hello? Yeah, that's better, I think. Cool.
Okay, yeah. Without further ado, round of applause for our very own Tina Hani. Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks, guys. Okay, so I'm terribly rusty. I haven't done a talk in ages. So I need you guys with me, and I need you guys to be as interactive as possible with me, or else it's not going to work, and I'll just go and hide somewhere. So before I start, I know we often associate beauty with women, but when we say the word beauty, we're talking about men and women. Men can be beautiful too, I guess, but we kind of call it handsome, right? But anyway, it's, pleasant to look at, I guess, or pleasant. And we'll touch on that a bit later. So, right, what pops into your head when we say the word beauty? Natural. Nice. Oh, I like that. Right. More words. Come on. Purity. Thanks. What was that? Purity. Lovely. What else? Huh? What pops into your head? George, see her? Yes, of course. Cool. Of course. Huh? What else pops up? Come on, guys. When you hear the word beauty, what's the first thing that pops in? Christ. Personality. Christ, yeah, cool. Personality. Makeup. Anything a bit more controversial without getting me chucked out? Yeah. Okay. Who pops into your head when we say beauty? Say Mary. Yeah, Anna, yeah. Anyone else? Say Marina. Yeah? Anyone? What was that? Esther, yes. Anyone else? So, Mark ruined my slides, but anyway, so when I hear the word beauty, these lot pop into my head. These are the Kardashians, and the Kardashians, yeah. They're Armenian Orthodox, just saying. Yeah. Need to swing them into the Coptic church, we'll be sorted. And more specifically, when you say beauty to me, ta-da! Lydia agrees with me, it's fine. Okay, some worldly stats and facts about beauty, all right? The global beauty industry was valued at just under 600 billion last year. Skincare accounts for about 40% of that market, and most of that is driven by sort of natural anti-aging skincare. There are some studies that show that attractive people tend to receive higher salaries, 10 to 15% more than their peers. 71% of us edit their photos before posting them online. I am guilty of that too. And last year in America, 1.5 million cosmetic procedures were performed. Now, I'm not talking Botox or these light thingies. I'm talking about rhinoplasties, cuts and nips and tucks and whatever. And things like Botox increased by 180%. So there's a lot on this happening, and there's a lot of emphasis on beauty in the world, okay? Right, is it wrong to want to be beautiful? No. Is focusing on your outward appearance wrong? No. Expense of what? Balance?
Balance what, like 50-50?
No, no, it's cool. I want this to be like a discussion. Mm. Fair enough. No, it's fair. No, no, it's a fair point. So we, like, most of us like to work out, most of us like to dress well, eat well, wear makeup, smell good. Like, does that make it wrong? I think you've answered the question, and that question is no. Yeah, I think I agree with you. But we'll come back to that. There's more about that in a bit. But yeah, you're right. It is about a balance. Before we go into the actual bits about inner and outer beauty, I want us to talk about beauty itself. What is it? Where did it come from? Has anyone ever thought that our desire to be beautiful isn't necessarily part of the world we live in or our culture, but it's like an innate thing? Like, has anyone ever thought that we are designed beings and beauty is part of the essence of who we are supposed to be? Has that ever popped into anyone's head that actually I am meant to be beautiful, I'm made to be beautiful? Has it? But does that pop into, because I feel like being beautiful, the world's made it such an outward, superficial thing. But does anybody ever sit there and think, actually, God has made me beautiful on purpose? I'm supposed to be beautiful.
I think God makes a point of about people being beautiful. Like, if there are so many times in the Bible, I can't think of examples where they specifically say, oh, there was a beautiful girl, and so it attracted the man, and then sometimes it ends good, sometimes it ends bad. But they make a specific point in the Bible to say this was a beautiful woman.
Yeah.
Or man.
So beauty is mentioned in the Bible just under 50 times. So it's a fairly consistent,
50?
Yeah, just under, like 49. There's a fairly consistent theme of beauty throughout the Bible. So yeah, you're right. Okay, what is beauty? Can anyone give me a definition? And where does it come from?
I think it's subjective.
Mm-hmm.
It's attraction.
So we're recording. Use the mic.
I said I think it's subjective, and I think beauty is something that you find attractive.
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah, subjective, and it's something that you find attractive. What else? What is beauty? Can anyone give me like a solid definition? Jesus. Stop ruining my talk.
He's a beautiful.
He is. Jesus. Anything else?
He's a haggis.
No, we're coming. What's aesthetically
She said
pleasing?
aesthetically pleasing.
Yeah. Okay. Any more takers before we move on? What's beauty and where does it come from? Because I will give you the answer to that in just a second. God.
She said God.
She said God.
Thank you, Jesse.
Okay. So, God is the creator and the source of beauty. So, he's created it. He is the source. And I think when I was preparing this, when Mickey first asked me to do this topic, this was the last thing from my mind until I sat down to prepare it. Guys, sorry. So the Bible is filled with references throughout describing God as beautiful, describing him as the source and as the creator. So, first one thing I have asked of the Lord that I will seek after, that I may dwell in the house of the Lord all the days of my life, to gaze upon the beauty of the Lord and to inquire in his temple. So, you know, like when everyone imagines what Jesus looked like, do we ever see like this white hair, like white, like background, like white, whatever? So it says here, like, we gaze upon the beauty of the Lord. Can anyone tell me, like, when you imagine that, like, you see Jesus, what do you reckon he looks like? Or what do you reckon he's like? I know I haven't seen him, but like when you imagine him, what does he look like? Okay. So, can we have that point again?
I just said it feels difficult to differentiate between beauty and attraction, which is why it feels uncomfortable to discuss Jesus being beautiful.
Okay.
Is beauty something that innately attracts people, just
Say that again?
generally? Talking about Jesus, then isn't going to be something that innately just attracts people spiritually?
Okay, so let me start with Anna first. So we're talking about beauty. Does being beautiful necessarily mean that you have to be attractive?
I think so, but just what kind of beauty? I said it. I said. No, attraction. Like to be beautiful is to find. If something is beautiful, it's attractive. It doesn't mean it has to be an outward thing. So if somebody, like what Jesse was saying, if I see someone who lives and walks with God, I find that beautiful because it's something I find attractive. I think it's beautiful because I find it attractive. So it doesn't have to be an outward thing, inward, spiritual.
Yeah. Mark? You know that mic, does that not work?
That's really bad.
Okay, just like that. No?
So are we saying that beauty is objective whilst attraction is subjective? Because that's what I seem to be hearing here.
But that's why I wanted to define beauty. If we're looking to define something, we need to go to its source. And we've now established that the source is God. Now, Anna's made a very good point in that we need to differentiate between being beautiful and being attractive. Is that right? But if something is beautiful, so for example, I could think a dress is beautiful. Does that necessarily make me attracted to that dress? Or like it could be, I think we need to kind of split it and like really dig down to actually what the root of being beautiful is or what beauty actually is. Mm-hmm.
Mike, please.
If we're talking about a person, I can understand why people can link them together, different than objects. But for me, I think God is beautiful, but yes, there is a reverence or reverence, or I won't say fear, but there is an awe around him. So when John, the beloved, saw him in the book of Revelation, he was attracted, coming towards him, and then when he came, he described from the feet upwards, coming to look at his face, he said, so he fell on his face, like to bow in front of God. But he was so happy. So I think God is beautiful, but full of reverence as well.
Okay. Yep.
Sorry, going back to your question, when you said, what do you think Christ looks like? Or
Yeah, sure.
so I think, I could be horribly wrong, so this is my theory, by the way, but I think when I think of Christ, I think of light, like something,
light.
so something really bright.
Yeah.
And when you think of something really, when you speak of light, there is a saying in the Bible, be the light that shines through men. So if I put together that light is beautiful and light is Christ, and we have light within us, which is Christ, and we shine before men, and that's the lightness that we're showing before men, that's the beauty within us because of Christ.
I love that.
And it's also like, even in other cultures as well, like when you think of like light and brightness, that's also what's aesthetically pleasing on the outside, but we let it shine from within.
I like that. Did everyone hear that?
That's great.
That's a great point. I really like that. I'm just gonna carry on with a few more references to beauty with relation to Jesus, or God. Your eyes will see the King in his beauty. They will see the land that is very far off. So again, there's this constant theme of calling God beautiful throughout the Bible, and I will come back to your point in terms of beauty and attraction and all that in just a minute. But I think I just wanted to establish that beauty comes from a source, and we need to always look to that source in order to build from there, okay? And then finally, those who look to him are radiant, and their faces shall never be ashamed, which fits in beautifully with what Georgina said, okay? Okay, we've touched on that. So we've never seen God's physical beauty. What is it? And we've never seen God, so that's fine. But can anyone think of a verse in the Bible or something with a definition that can really define God's beauty? Is there anything that pops? God, Father, Holy Spirit. There's your clue. Lydia.
I didn't hear what you said about the Trinity. My mind doesn't reference that, but I was about to say that we were made in His image, like that is His beauty in us, like that's the physicalness, I would say, of His beauty. That's the only time I could think about His physical beauty.
Yeah, love that. And we're coming to that in just a second. What is it? Yeah, we are coming to the image of Christ in a second. But when I thought about a definition, I thought of the fruits of the Spirit. Because we don't actually know physically what God looks like. But again, we know Him as a character, and that character is defined here in the fruits of the Spirit. So that's love, joy, peace, long-suffering, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, gentleness, self-control. Against such there is no law. So these are the characteristics of the Spirit, which in turn is the beauty of God. What do you guys think? You can disagree with me.
It's a great little plug-in. This is what we're doing on YAM Sundays. Fruits of the Spirit, Galatians 5:22. Just wanted to say that.
Yeah, nicked it from Sandra's talk on Sunday. What do you guys think? Do you disagree? Do you agree? Do you think this is, not relevant?
Yeah, I was going to say, going back to Anna's point about attraction versus beauty again, which kind of leads into this. When you think of someone attractive, you think of something that draws you to them, i.e. something that you want to possess. Whereas when you think of something beautiful, you think of something that's innate, like to them, that is multidimensional, that kind of sets them apart, that kind of fills you with a certain amount of, wonder, curiosity, admiration. So it's similar to that. So when you have the fruits of the Spirit, these are things that set you apart, that people on a almost spiritual level recognize as there's something very, very different about you or this individual. And that is linked to the Creator.
Cool. Okay, so now that we're talking about this whole attraction theme, if you think about somebody that you're attracted to, and I'm not talking about them physically attracted, I'm talking about attracted to their character, are any of these characteristics here something that is factored in? Yeah? Does anyone disagree? Does anyone think, actually, I'd rather not have a peaceful partner, I just want chaos, and that's great? Sorry. I want none of that problem. No, sorry, I won't finish that one.
Sorry, back to your chaos.
Sorry?
When you said chaos, I think we have to have a fine definition between love and lust. And sometimes when we think of physical attraction, we fool ourselves when we say, oh, it's love, but in reality it's lust. But when you think of the inside beauty, that you actually like them more because of their personality, because of the most important thing is their relationship with Christ and so on and so forth, and the service that they do, that is true love and true beauty, not attraction and lust.
Yeah, well, exactly. Yeah, love that. Yeah.
I think the chaos thing is actually quite interesting. And I think if we were those things, we would be attracted to those things. We would want those things to be beautiful. Mm-hmm. But I think in our own pride, when we are, I'm not going to say chaotic, like when we are lacking in some shape or form, what we find attractive, this is why I was kind of trying to draw the point of like attractiveness is subjective, because when we are broken or we are lacking, we are attracted to other things which are not this. We are not attracted to perfection, right? I think, I don't know, that's.
Yeah. Guys, what do you reckon? Michael LeBron, what do you reckon?
We're having a discussion. Sorry,
Can you share,
I'm
'cause
so
it's really
sorry.
distracting. Can you share?
I was saying, from what Georgina was saying, I made a comment saying that's just boys, that lust over women's appearances. And then these guys called me out and said, no, women can lust too.
Well,
And
what?
women can lust over a guy.
Oh, yeah.
And I was like, what are we going to look at?
What?
I said, what are we going to look at? Like, what I'm trying to say is it's easier for a man to lust over a woman than a woman to lust over a man.
Because of what the women dress up as? Oh,
No, we have different body
we
parts.
need to start, Marta. Look.
We have different body parts, Mickey.
We need to stop this stream. And
Mickey, we
to
have different body parts. That's why. Is this recorded?
Go on, give it to Anna. No, this is good. I want, but if you have anything a bit controversial to say, just maybe park it until we switch the recording off. But yeah, no, I like this. Carry on. Go on, Anna.
Don't you think that as with anything, there's worldly and there's godly, and they're two different things? So worldly beauty is something, but God's intention of beauty is probably something different. So when we talk about outward beauty of God, I imagine that, when you look at those AI pictures of stuff, I imagine it to just be radiance, like breathtaking, whereas worldly beauty is broken. It's like we look for people that look like us, or we look for people with symmetry, or we look for whatever it is that happens in our brain when we define what is beautiful. But again, what God is intending for us to view as being beautiful is probably just something different, which is probably why it's so hard to define.
And I agree with you, and that fits in really well with the theme of this talk, which is inner beauty and outer beauty. And I think inner beauty you could relate to being the godly beauty, and outer beauty is the beauty, the Kardashian world that we live in, and that outer beauty, that, the worldly beauty. What do you reckon? Do you agree with that? So inner beauty we could relate to maybe the soul part of things, the faithful side of things, and maybe the outward beauty we could relate to the worldly side of things.
I disagree.
Okay.
I think God wants us to also be outwardly beautiful.
Yeah. I didn't say that it
Yeah,
wasn't.
you didn't. But I don't think outward beauty is worldly beauty. I think it's also godly beauty. For example, I'm trying to think of a really PC way to say what I want to say, but there's certain aspects of being beautiful that I think God would encourage. For example, like a lot of us have parents that probably don't care about how their appearance. Like my dad literally doesn't care how he looks at all, and I think that bridge that kind of crosses into the line of almost not being godly, because God gave you a body and He wants you to respect that temple and treat it well. And that contributes to your beauty. Like He wants you to return the body that He gave you back to Him, how He gave it to you, if you can.
Can you just pause? You guys are like fully
Did I
ahead of
win?
my talk. Like, guys, like,
I've
give me a
won.
chance. Just pause. You're right, 100%. But just let me get there. No, it's perfect. No, it's great. It's perfect. Just hold on to that for just 2 minutes. So let me carry on quickly so we can actually get to the nitty-gritty of it, okay? So, okay, He has made everything beautiful in its time, okay? So just to wrap this bit up, so not only is He beautiful, He's made everything beautiful. Okay, we've established this. Let's move on quickly, okay? So my beauty, your beauty, is made from Him. Everyone in agreement? By Him? Yep. For Him. Does anyone disagree on that last point? So what else is it for?
I think it was for us as well. I don't think it's exclusive for Him. From Him, by Him, absolutely. Can't say anything about that. But for Him, yes, but not just for Him. Like everything that is enjoyable in this world, aside from the desires, has been created. Like our desire is a twisted version of something good that He's created. And I don't think that He's made us beautiful just for Him to enjoy. It's also for us to enjoy in community, for one another, and for ourselves.
Ultimately for Him.
If you do it for Him, then you've covered everyone else.
If you do it for Him, you've covered everyone
All
else.
other avenues have been covered.
You know, in a simple way, when you see something or someone with beautiful characters, in Arabic, what do you say?
MashaAllah.
Allah.
Oh,
So,
Allah.
so you almost look, يعني almost as when your intentions are good, you are actually talking about God because you saw something or someone beautiful. Yes. So, so in a way, when you see, yeah, I'll tell you something. I was watching a scientific thing, documentary before, and I saw a beautiful flower that actually, like, opens up in a beautiful way quickly, like not days. No, within half an hour it opens up, and that process itself was beautiful. So I said, "Wow, God, you are amazing." So even though I saw a flower, but I admire the beauty of the flower based on the creation of God. I could not say the flower is beautiful on its own.
Okay, but I think the point that I think the point that I'm trying to get at is, for him, our beauty isn't a necessity, in the sense of he doesn't need us to be beautiful. He could have made a world of completely ugly people, but the people who enjoy the beauty, okay, or should I say what we may think of as beauty, I think that's predominantly for us. Yeah. And I'll tell you why I think that. Like even in the Song of Solomon, for example, where the man enjoys his wife, and I mean that in like the purest of senses, that is not a bad thing.
But so the question is, why did he make us beautiful in the eyes of each other?
معلش قول تاني.
Why did he make us beautiful? Because compared to him, we are ugly, like you said.
Mhm.
But why would we look beautiful in each other's eyes?
Because he wants us to enjoy one another. I don't think it's so. I think
It's
my
almost a
problem with
reflection
for
of
him
him.
is it's not for him full stop.
Oh no.
That's I think that's my only point.
Yeah.
It's just that for us too,
Yeah.
it's okay for us to enjoy being beautiful. Do you know what I
Okay.
mean?
Yes. Perhaps we should just go through the slides and leave commentary till later.
Maybe I should have flipped them round. Yeah, okay, you guys have you're covering everything as we go through. So again, let me quickly. So through him, all things were made. Without him, nothing was made that has been made. So, okay, we've established that, okay? For you formed my inward parts. You covered me in my mother's womb. I will praise you, for I am fearfully and wonderfully made. Marvelous are your works, and that my soul knows very well. I just want to go back to fearfully and wonderfully made, and that we are specifically designed, specifically made down to the T to be exactly how I look, exactly how I am, exactly my character. Has anyone ever had anything tailor-made? How long does it take? Yeah. Okay?
I think it took like 4 weeks.
It takes a long time. How much thought goes into that process? Ya Allah. A lot of thoughts.
It could have been a lot.
They size you up.
A lot of couples.
Okay. Generally, when people have things tailor-made, there is a spec, and everything needs to be made specifically to that spec. Okay, so think of yourself as this masterpiece that God has made. He goes, I've wonderfully made you. Like, it's like you're marvelous. Like, that's what God has made us on purpose. Everything about you is done on purpose. Your hair's not an accident. Your face is not an accident. Your character is not an accident. You are made exactly how you are designed to be. Okay, and again, that's reinforced in Job. Did not he who made me in the womb make them? Did not the same one fashion us in the womb? Again, the reference to being made in the womb, but to me it kind of reads that he's made us all, there's no preference, but he's also given us the same care and attention, okay? And yeah, this confirms that you're altogether beautiful, my darling, there is no flaw in you. Okay. Yep. You are altogether beautiful, my darling, there is no flaw in you. So I'm just going to pause here for a sec. Has everyone now established that you are meant to be just the way you are, and you are beautiful just the way you are?
Amen, sister.
Are there any doubts? Does anyone think like, oh yeah, I'm buzzed, like whatever? Yeah, I know.
We're meant to be how we were created, but not necessarily how we are right now today.
Give me an example.
For example, if I if I ruin the way I look. Like, God didn't do that to me. I did that to me.
Huh?
Huh?
Don't take you serious.
Exactly. That's a good example. Imagine I smoke my whole life, my teeth go black. I did that. So I'm not beautiful now because I've ruined what God gave me. You are, even with your sin, you're beautiful to God, that's true, but you're not the intention of beauty that you're not the tailor-made that he wanted. That wasn't what he wanted for you. You did that. You're still... We disagree.
Slightly.
Tell me. Mike.
Okay. Even if we mess ourselves up, he looks at us and actually reformed us. He never looked at the original thing. He said, you know what? I'm going to remold what you currently have done, and I'm going to make something beautiful out of it. And he mentioned that into 2 occasions. One in Ezekiel when he talked about the pot maker, when he made a beautiful one and then got messed up. He said, you know what? It was very easy. Let's just start from scratch. He said, no, I'm going to remold the current messed up one, and I'm going to make it a beautiful one. And in the Proverbs, he said, Song of Song, he said, you are black and beautiful. Why? Because at the time, black means like sinful. I said, no, you are black and beautiful. Means even with your sins, I look at you as a beautiful person. Not because of your current state, because he sees beyond your current state. He sees what you're going to do after you repent, after you, like, when he looked at Paul and he said to Ananias, he said to him, Ananias said to God, are you sure you want me to go to this guy who came to kill everybody in Damascus? And he said to him, I'm going to show him how much he will suffer for me because he is a chosen vessel. So he looked beyond the current state of sin and all of that. So even when we mess up, I think still he sees us beautiful because of the potential we can reach.
I agree, but what we were saying is that God created us exactly as we are, and that is beautiful. And I don't think he created us exactly as we are. I think he created us with an intention. We ruin that image, we corrupt it, but we're still beautiful, and we still have the chance for redemption, and he will still see beauty in us, but he didn't create us as we are.
But I think if we go back to this verse, it doesn't, I still think it's regardless of whether it's at creation or throughout your life, whether you've ruined it or not, I think there is still that notion of you're still beautiful and I still see you as flawless, regardless of all the rubbish, you don't whatever, shower or you don't go gym or whatever. Like, I still think that there's that.
But this is about the potential, not the current state.
What do you mean?
It's like what we're saying to Mike, if somebody is sinning,
Yeah.
God cannot become delusional and say, no, you are fine now. No, he's not, I'm not fine now. But he can see beyond that, say, you will be fine.
But do you not think he still sees through it?
But that's what I'm saying, he sees through the current state.
Yeah.
Not that, we cannot. It has to be fair as well.
I think I'm just going to pause for a second and tell you something just a little bit personal. So when Mickey asked me to do this talk, I got really excited about it because this topic is really special to me in terms of I look around and I kind of see so many people doubting their beauty and doubting their self-esteem and just doubting themselves. And I think when I came to talk about this, I really just wanted to bring home, I really just wanted to reinforce that actually no matter what you've been through, no matter how much weight you've gained, or no matter you didn't wear makeup that day, or your hair's messed up or whatever, I think we still need to remember that we are all just so, we are created to be beautiful. And I feel like there's this distorted self-image is such a real thing that I kind of just want to break it. Like, am I getting there? Let's crack on. So, in his image, for his glory, which goes to Anna's point and a little bit to what Mark said as well about Is it for him? Let's have a look. So then God said, let us make mankind in our image, in our likeness. So that goes, yes, we are made in his image, for we are his workmanship, as it says in Ephesians. And then the verse we all know. Or do you not know that your body is the temple of the Holy Spirit who is in you, whom you have from God, who you are not your own? So you're not your own. For you were bought at a price, therefore glorify God in your body and in your spirit, which are God's. So I think when I read this, it was sort of like, whilst it's not to promote vanity, you're still encouraged to look after your health. Like, you've got this body, God's given you this temple, you still need to look after it. No one's saying, like, just because you're innate, like, you're beautiful from inside, it means you just need to, like, forget the outside. No, like, no one's saying that. You still need to respect and look after that body that you've been given. But then the emphasis is not necessarily just on the outer beauty, but also on the inside. Just something to say. You got any, Gina? No? Cool. So it's the point is to reflect God's glory rather than seeking self-glorification. Any points, any questions, any comments, any disagreements?
After.
Okay.
Because Anna, it's 9:52.
Is it?
8:52.
8:52. Okay, we're almost there-ish.
As if we did some extra hymn. Oh, sorry.
Okay. Let's crack on. So now we'll get into the crux of inner versus outer beauty. Okay, so do not let your adornment be merely outward, arranging the hair, wearing gold, or putting on fine apparel. Rather, let it be the hidden person of the heart, with the incorruptible beauty of a gentle and quiet spirit, which is very precious in the sight of God. Now, my favorite part about this whole verse is the use of merely. So God isn't saying, like, don't wear, like, gold, don't, like, do nice hair. Like, it's saying, don't let that be your main aim. Don't let it be merely outward. Yes, give it your attention, but the priority goes to the hidden person of the heart. And I love the use of incorruptible here, the incorruptible beauty. So you have that beautiful heart, you have that gentle, quiet spirit. That is so precious in the sight of God. Any comments? Modesty. I also want the women to dress modestly, with decency and propriety, adorning themselves not with elaborate hairstyles or gold or pearls or expensive clothes, but with good deeds appropriate for women who profess to worship God. Again, it's not sinful or selfish to want to look pretty on the outside, but again, there's that reinforcement that true beauty comes from the heart, that true beauty comes from modesty, that true beauty comes from decency. And lastly, so this is in terms of inner beauty, there's that goodness and integrity. Finally, brothers and sisters, whatever is true, whatever is noble, whatever is right, whatever is pure, whatever is lovely, whatever is admirable, if anything is excellent or praiseworthy, think about these things. So again, all of these characteristics reinforce inner beauty. Okay, before we move on to outer beauty, any comments or disagreements? Okay, so outer beauty. Charm is deceptive and beauty is fleeting, but a woman who fears the Lord is to be praised. So this reads to me that, like, outer beauty is temporary. So all that attention, like, again, I'll reinforce. I like to look good, I like to do my hair, I get my nails done, I spend loads of money on skincare, whatever. No one's saying any of that is wrong, but all that stuff is gonna pass, it's going down the drain in like 10, 15 years, but it's that inner that inner beauty, that's the thing that's going to remain. Okay. Does someone want to give me a break and read this verse for me?
But the Lord said to Samuel, do not consider his appearance or his height, for I have rejected him. The Lord does not look at things people look at. People look at the outward appearance, but the Lord looks at the heart.
Does anyone have any comments on this? Okay, so again, God values the character and the spiritual values. Actually, in this verse, God's completely rejected the notion of appearance, and he's just focused on the heart, whereas in the other verses, God still gave there was still some relevance to outer beauty. So I thought that was quite interesting. But just to reinforce the point, physical exercise has some value, but spiritual exercise is more important. It promises a reward in both this life and the next. Again, so the Bible's saying, yeah, look after yourself. But look after yourself outwardly. But actually, it's the inner looking after yourself that's more important. Okay, so we're almost done. Let's just pause for a second. Think of someone who's like super hot, like physically attractive, but is really unkind, demanding, rude. Do you find it difficult to see their outward attractiveness? Now, just real quick, just chuck answers at me. No need for the mic. No. No. You're a glutton for punishment, that's why. Right, let's crack on. Allah. That's another talk, bro. Are you okay? Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry. Huh? Okay. Now, if you think of someone who's lovely, fun, and kind and thoughtful, they're, still beautiful, but do you see them more beautiful than they already are? But then have you met someone who is super beautiful, but then they're humble, and then they're like the best of both worlds? I'll just let you think about that. Okay, quick 2-minute video, and then we are seriously almost done. I just really hope it plays. Oh no! Don't know if it will play. Tech support would be appreciated. Tech support. Can you play this one?
Did you log
Don't give me PTSD. Try and play it from the. Yeah. Do I need to be connected to internet?
No. Is that in the Google Drive?
Sorry, guys.
In companies, they will have like 5.
I'm IT illiterate, sorry. It's a miracle we got PowerPoint. Okay. Sorry, guys. We're almost there. The ads. So it's there, 5 seconds. Is the sound on the thingy?
There's an immeasurable amount of suffering going on in Israel.
We were on that, it's not working. Just put it from the normal one, you'll be able to. Just put it on the normal one. Okay. Everyone can hear that, right? Yeah?
No, fashion is a big thing. How you look, how you present yourself, how you walk, and how you talk is all designed to impress others. What we all know fashion is a big thing. How you look and how you present yourself, how you walk and how you talk is all designed to impress others. What God is interested in is whether we are impressing Him. Whether we take what He has given us in our resources, in our looks, in our habits, in how we relate to other people, and whether He can kingdomize it. I love that word, kingdomize, because that means he can stitch it together and use it for eternal purposes. Esther was a beautiful lady. She just hadn't made a connection between her looks and God's kingdom. That God wanted to use the beauty He had given her to place her in a strategic role to protect God's people for God's glory and be a tool for keeping God's promises. God is not impressed with the external. He likes the internal to be beautiful. But when the external can complement it and reflect the beauty on the inside, you then become useful to God because he has a heart and a soul that he can use, and it's in a person he can be proud of. So righteously impress others, but more importantly, impress God. Because when God is impressed with you, you can now be used for eternity and not only to impress folk in time. That'll fade away. We get older, the clothes wear out, the money sometimes dries up. But a righteous man or woman who can be used by God for God's purposes, that pays eternal dividends.
Okay. So this is the last slide, and then we'll go into questions. But actually, I said it earlier in terms of, but I'll just reinforce in terms of, this is so important to me because I really do always hear a lot of people say that they're not good enough, and they're not beautiful enough. And it really has an impact on their self-esteem, and it really upsets me to see. And I see the lengths that some people go to just to try and adjust the way that they look, just to become acceptable to this outward worldly view of beauty. And then we also, we always go back to that, do not be conformed to the standards of the world, as it says in Romans. Again, I get it. I love to look good. I'm not disagreeing. I'm not saying it's a bad thing, but I'm saying we can't be placing all of our emphasis on our outward appearance to evaluate or to be considered beautiful, okay? So yes, it's great to be beautiful, but it's always gonna fade, okay? So yeah, the next time one of you feels that you're not beautiful enough, just remember that you are fearfully and wonderfully made, and made just the way that you're supposed to be. Questions? Okay. Do you want to switch off the recording? You were?
You said earlier about the verse from St. Peter and the, I can't remember what the second one was, about the reference, but you're talking about the outer beauty and the inner beauty, and you're saying that the priority should be the inner beauty rather than the outer beauty.
Mm-hmm.
So I know I tried to quantify, but like what does that mean to focus on the inner beauty rather than outer? So does that mean like, if I look at my money, how much of my money do I invest in outer beauty, in clothes or getting a nice trim or makeup and stuff like that, compared to how much do I spend focusing on my inner beauty, which could be like my health, my well-being, my mental health, things like that? Is it like someone said balance, is it like a genuine, like a 50-50 thing, or is it like, what about my time? How much of my time do I invest? Like I spend a long time getting a haircut, or shopping for nice clothes, or trying different outfits or different makeup, and compared to spending time building my character and becoming a better person?
I think that there's a, when you got like the devil and the angel, I've got the slightly inappropriate answer. Okay.
I'll save you this. Go on.
Can you answer first, then I'll say what I'm thinking?
Okay,
That's
sure.
better. Go on.
It has to be more. So whether about on any quantifiable level, in time, in money, in attention, and how much it occupies your brain, all of them. Yeah, if you say, مثلا, I go to the gym an hour a day, I expect you to tell me I read the Bible and I spend an hour and a half with God. Because otherwise, your outer beauty is more important than your inner beauty. If you tell me I spend, on average, every month, more than 10% of my earnings getting outer beauty stuff, I say, well, at least you should pay your 10% to God, then spend more than the 10%, because you're already spending 10% on your outer beauty. If you say it takes me an hour to get ready and go out, say fine. Before you come to church, I expect you to be waking up an hour before church and a half. But that's if you want a quantifiable measure, the inner should be more than the outer.
I don't think it's quantifiable. I think, let's say for example, you wake up in the morning, you do whatever routine you do, you go to the gym, if your girls, hair, makeup, all that kind of stuff, you look good, you feel good during the day. You step out the house, on your way to work, you're charitable. Maybe you meet a homeless person on the street or someone needs your help. At work, you help other people. You know what I mean? On your way home, you help someone else. You come home, you're charitable to your wife, your kids. It's a day-to-day thing, something you do every single day. Eventually, if you're focused on others as opposed to yourself, and you spend a little time or spend a little bit of money taking care of yourself, feeling good, it's incalculable how much more you would have, you'll radiate inner beauty than outer beauty. So it's incomparable. You can't quantify it saying 50-50 because it becomes very cynical and it becomes very mechanical, you know?
Georgina.
I asked you that. It's not about planning it. I'm saying if you come at the end of your day or end of your week or end of your month and you reflect back and you be like, okay, today I spent more time on outward appearance and outer beauty than inner beauty, then does that mean I need to work on something?
If you spend more time on outer beauty than inner, yeah. But the thing is,
So
it's
you
very
can-
difficult
so
to
you can
view.
quantify it then.
Say again?
So you can quantify it then. Or measure it or something.
You can't
That's
you
what I'm
can't allocate. What I mean is you can't allocate a certain number to
No,
it. When I say you
again,
can't
I'm
quantify
saying,
it.
Abuna's saying however much you spend on inner beauty, however much you spend on outer beauty, you should be spending more on inner beauty. Whether it's any of your resources, more. You don't need to have it, just more. So that.
But
in
that's
that
the thing
video,
though. If
that
you're
guy
talking
said-
about, let's say you want to go get a haircut, or you want to line your beard up, or whatever it is, you can quantify that. But if you're helping a homeless person, right? I heard an expression that said a man's value is found in his need. So you go to a homeless person, you go to Tesco, buy them like a meal that's $3.99. Then you stop with them, you stand with them, have a conversation with them. What you have done for them, regardless of how much money you spend, is incalculable in value. It has this immense spiritual value. So in that sense, you can't really quantify that. Does that make sense? The same way you can't quantify helping someone out at work, even though you don't actually have to do that, you know?
Abuna, I disagree with you about saying, for example, that if you go gym for an hour, you need to pray for an hour and a half a day. Because that implies that God is transactional. Like it's not I do 1 hour, I need to do more for God. I think if you bless, or if you glorify God before you do anything. So if I pray before I go to the gym, say, dear God, bless the session I'm about to have, then I'm remembering God. If I'm about to do a 3-hour drive, does that mean I need to pray for 3.5 hours or 3 hours, 1 minute?
We are talking about how much I spend for myself, about my own outer beauty. I'm not talking about work, I'm not talking about these things. It's about, so the quantity is important, but the quality as well is important. So I can do 5 minutes of prayers, very quality time. But can I do this every day? No. So that's why sometimes the quantity becomes important as well as the quality. So if I go to the gym an hour, I can spare an hour of my own time to go to the gym, but I don't have time to read the Bible for 5 minutes, there is a problem. There is a big problem, because I can spare the time. But if I spend 10-15 minutes, because that's the maximum I can physically currently read the Bible for, fine. But I know deep down my heart that if I want to watch something or I get attracted to something like a match, I can spend an hour and a half watching a football match absolutely fine. So for me, I say, okay, today my capacity to read the Bible and be with God's environment.
But isn't that what Holy Week is for? Like we buy credits for the year.
Can I give my opinion? And do correct me if you disagree. Okay, so I'm sure. Yeah. Sorry, Georgina. I know, but I just. So, not recently, but have lost a lot of weight. And when I was trying to do so, which we could consider as vanity, if you like, I used to work out every single day for like an hour and a half. Because I gave that importance, and I still think that was very important. Was it glorifying God? Yes and no. It was for outer and inner beauty. I think in terms of looking after my temple, I think that's relevant. But also, I was also looking after my outer appearance. I don't think it's necessarily a thing to maybe give it like balance, if you like. I think you could be doing something for your outer beauty and glorify God at the same time. Like I know loads of people that listen to worship when they're at the gym, for example. There are ways where you can kind of do things at the same time, and just looking at this verse, it's about having that gentle, quiet spirit. Like he's looking at the heart. He's like, when you're interacting at work, like, are you interacting with your colleagues with a gentle spirit? Like when you've got that colleague that you just want to are you dealing with that person with that beauty, with that quietness? That like I feel like it's not necessarily giving it like a fraction of time or fraction of whatever. For example, I feel like basically do everything with these intentions, and then I feel like you'll get a bit of both.
Sorry, Tina.
Yes, go on.
Can I just say, I really like how you just mentioned about glorifying God, because that was going on to my point. The reason why we're here, it's even in our jobs and our education, everything that we do, the main thing we should be doing is to glorify God. So the inner beauty is basically our personal relationship with Christ and us glorifying God, but also we can use our outer beauty to do the same. In the Bible, in Corinthians, in 1 Corinthians 11:15, it says, but if a woman has long hair, it's a glory to her, for it's given for a covering. That outer beauty is still glorifying God, so it's just as important. Not just that, when Esther used her beauty to gain favor with the king and help her people out and glorify God, she's using her outer beauty. So regardless of beauty, whether it's inside or outside, as long as it's glorifying God, it's just as important, because there are some people in the Bible, like, was it Delilah, who used her outer beauty to break a covenant between Samson and God. And basically everything that we should do, whether it be inside or outside beauty, it should just be there to glorify God. So one can't, although inner beauty we think is more important, as long as it's the main goal at the end is to glorify God, they're both just as important, and one can even be more than important at the same time, depending what the outcome is.
Think how many people go to the gym to glorify God? We have
Oh yeah, that's just an example though, like.
no, but correct. Correct. But in your mind, how many of people, like if we're talking about the intentions, of course, then it's down to the person's intention. And if your intention is, I'm going to the gym because I want to glorify God, 100%. I want to look after my body, 100%. But I would say most of the people I have seen go to the gym and they get obsessed. I'm not saying the gym is wrong, but obsessed about this becomes not about God. It's about me.
Yeah, but
Monica.
Sorry, I'll be real quick. Like, but you could also be doing you could also be praying and stuff, and it's not with these intentions. It works both ways. Okay, go on, Monica.
But I was gonna say that there's a differentiate. Like, you need to differentiate between paying attention and then losing focus. I think personally, anyway. Like, if I want to make myself look presentable, and I should be able to do that, and then regardless whatever time that takes. But we had a really good talk last week. It really opened my eyes in terms of the time that we waste, and that's what we need to sort of think about sort of moving forward, is the time not taken to like praise God or try and focus your relationship with God. But I don't think there's anything wrong in terms of focusing on not focusing, but like paying attention to your outer beauty. If that, for example, gets you up to go to work or puts you in a better mood, and there's always times that you can consult God throughout the day. Like, I sometimes like to do that. If I can't dedicate time for a full-on hour of prayer or the Bible, I will try, but I wouldn't say that it needs to always be the same equal amounts. And I know we've covered that already, but I'm saying, like, as long as the focus isn't lost in terms of just being so engrossed in how I look and how people see me and how, like, a standard that I need to, because this is all just worldly standards at the end of the day. Even beauty is worldly standards. It's not beauty standards set by God. It's for God, it's completely out of, it's you can't fathom it. So at the same time, it's like, as long as you don't lose focus, I don't think there's anything wrong in paying attention to yourself, even if you're going to the gym and if you're, who said it, like if you're listening to worship, or it's still at the same time, you're still trying to sort of infuse both, but they're not.
Look, I've never said that the gym and God or outer and inward and inner beauty are competing on your time. I say, give whatever you want to give to your outer appearance. That's okay. The remaining of the time, give God more. So if you want to go an hour to the gym, give God an hour and a half. So you want to go 2 hours to the gym, give God 2 hours and a half, because you can. Because if you are able to spare that time, you surely can spare some time for God.
Go on.
Yes.
I agree with the standard that you would like. Yes. I agree with that. I think the actual standard we should be aiming for is a life of dedicated to God. It's not simply just if I do this for 1 hour, I should at least give 1 hour and a half. No, I think the standard, as in what we are striving for, is a life dedicated, every action, a mission, everything is dedicated to God. But I think we need to have grace with one another on the spiritual journeys that we are all at, the levels that we are at. And I think this idea of like sort of quantifying what we're doing, if we are wanting to do that, it's essentially showing a self-reflection. It's me saying, God, I want to be closer to you. This is what I have done. This is where I have put my effort. And by effort, I'm using that word to mean your time, your money, and your energy. This is where I've actually spent my time, or my money, or my energy. I want to spend more of that on you, and I'm struggling. I'm doing these things more than I'm praying, or more than I'm reading the Bible, or more than I'm thinking about you, or more than I'm showing love to others. And I think it's very much a case of, I can't do that alone. As in, you once said it to me not too long ago, where my weapons of warfare in attaining where I want to be spiritually are prayer and reading the Bible. Those are my weapons. But sometimes I am too weak to use those weapons to engage in warfare, to fight the desire to be whatever I might want to be. And I think the quantifying is good, but only as a self-reflection, as opposed to it's not transactional. It's not transactional in the slightest. And I think that's something we all should very much drill into our heads. And there's a big fear with that. It's just for the self-reflection.
And that's what I was saying earlier on. If your capacity today to spend 10 minutes with the Bible, that's okay. But in my head, okay, if I can spend an hour, I should aim for an hour and a half. And I work gradually towards the hour and a half. So I'm not saying today, khalas, if I can't do 60-40 or 50-50, well, I am doomed. No. We are, like you said, we are all in different paths of our spiritual life. But if I can expend that amount of resources in my outer beauty, surely I can expend more in my inner beauty.
Just one final reflection from me, just going back to my personal, what I consider to be the definition of beauty. I feel like it should be more of a character thing. I feel like it should be something that you apply throughout every aspect of your life. So I'm going for a trim, yeah, I'm gonna treat my barber with respect and love. I'm going to the gym, yeah, I'm gonna, I don't know, wipe down whatever before I leave. I feel like it should be a personality trait more than a time fraction. I don't know, I feel like being faithful and being good and being joyful and peaceful, that's not something you can quantify. I feel like that's something that you just need to live out throughout your life, and in turn makes you beautiful. I don't think you can be like...
But this is a fruit, that's an outcome of me spending time with God.
Fair
So
enough.
you can't have a fruit without a seed and a root and all of it.
Okay.
So you are right. You are absolutely right. What people see is the fruit. So if I see Tina kind to others, I know that's beautiful of Tina, but I know that's coming from the Holy Spirit inside her.
Okay.
But if It has to come from that. And to reach that is me spending time with God. Like we said, Moses went on the mountain, spent 40 days. Came down, his face changed.
Fair enough. Cool. Any final bits? Thank you very much.
Okay. Thank you very much, Tina. I was Bible verse. Why? Why'd you cut it before the announcements? People need to hear the announcements, Abuna. It's important. But what's the rush? Is there a time limit? Like, hard. Okay. We didn't get a chance to speak about modesty.
I did.
We touched on it, but there was a lot of questions, and
Yeah, I had to, yeah.
anyway, maybe that will be a talk for next year, Mark. Put that in as one of the suggested topics. Okay, so some quick announcements for you. This Sunday, we'll be carrying on with our new series, Fruits of the Holy Spirit, and we will have our very own Martha lead Sunday. Round of applause for Martha. Very excited. It will be 12:45 in the room inside. If you can please try to come on time. It's a Bible study, so bring your Bibles. We do have Bibles if you don't have your own, and we'll come and read together and we'll discuss. Next Thursday, we will have Abonob Fakhouri, Kati's husband from Brighton. I don't know why we're clapping. I've asked him to answer the question, which sounds very simple, but it's not an easy answer. Can you really be a Christian and competitive? In your career, in all of these things. Can you be a true Christian and competitive? And for those of you that have played with him on the pitch before, he's the right man for the talk. And then that will be next Thursday. The Saturday after that, which is the 16th of November, there will be no liturgy here in the morning on that Saturday because we are celebrating the 25th diocesan anniversary and the 7th year of Sayyidina's, the other way, of Bishop of Sayyidina, yeah. So basically there will be a liturgy in Stevenage, in the cathedral. So no liturgies on Saturdays in here or any other church. So we encourage everybody to try to please go. They'll have liturgy, they'll have some food, and they'll have some presentations and stuff like that. So that'll be Saturday the 16th. Liturgy's at 9 a.m. I think it was 9:15, something like that. 10 to 12 is the liturgy, yeah. We need help, please, with food. YAM Thursdays, if you would like to donate towards the food, if you want to order the food, if you want to make something, please speak to George Siha, and he will let you know what you can help with. You don't have to commit to it every week. Could be once a month, once every 2 months, just whatever you can do. After we pray, we'll go inside. We've got some pizza today, and then we'll start Tasbeha at 10 p.m. Anything else? Let us pray.
In the name of the Father, the Son, the Holy Spirit, one God.
Father, I thank you for bringing us together. I thank you for bestowing on us a little piece of your wisdom today, Lord. I pray that you